Alright, welcome back to the Wisdom Studio of Wisdom Gate Radio. We're transmitting live from Alimosho, Lagos, Nigeria. And of course, it's still Health and Lifestyle Tuesday with FZibra, the noble presenter with the voice of reality. And of course, I have Wajomi and the Praise live here with me in the studio. And we are looking at something we've been discussing about in the studio for a while. And we would like to share our thoughts about it. And the question is it okay for a man to cry? Yeah, you know, sometimes I've seen myself do some funny things and it can be very funny. So I would like to know your minds before I move on. Where should I start from? Middle of it.
Well, I think it depends on the situation and what exactly does crying mean. Is it until we shed a tear before we say the person is crying? Because the person can actually be crying within and the person is even feeling worse than somebody who is shedding tears. I've seen men cry. I'm going to use my dad and my immediate younger brother as example. When I was much younger, I saw my dad cry once. Just because my mom beat one of my siblings who was about 3 or 4 years old. He weed on his body and you know she beat him to the point that he had a mark on his lap, and for him he felt like this child is still too young, and even if he weeds on his body it can happen to a child. My mom is very strict. She believes that once she has started putting you through not weeing on the bed and all of that, you should stick. And so I saw my dad crying. He carried my brother to our landlady as at that time and was saying, see what my wife did to our son. And you know, the woman being a river lady, my dad also remember, she started talking to him like a mother would say to his son and say, don't worry sir, that when my mom returns she would rather come and speak to her. Eventually that same day I saw my mom apologizing to my dad. She did apologize and said she was very sorry that it will not happen anymore. And so that's for that. And then another instance, for that particular I saw my dad cry like he was shedding a tear. The second time was my immediate younger brother. My dad was very sick at the hospital and it was only God who brought him back to life. But that period when he was at the hospital and almost lost his life, I had to call my immediate younger brother to hurry down from his place of work. So he just took permission, started coming. And when I saw him, the position he was as at that time, you know this person is crying, but he's just not shedding a tear. I could see it all over him that his heart was heavy. A lot of things that he wants to say, a lot of things that he wants to pour out, but there's nobody to listen to him as at that time. And I've always known him to be a very strong person. He would even rather be consoling you as at that time and say, don't worry, everything will be fine. But I, being his immediate elder sister, I knew that yes, this guy is crying inside.
Ajiri, have you ever had any cause cry? Just a quick answer so we will know.
Yeah, I would say yes. I would say yes because I'm a very emotional person. And I think I've cried a couple of times. Not once, not twice.
Okay, now, like myself, I've had instances whereby I'll be watching a movie and I end up shedding tears. Sometimes I see some things that happen to people and it, you know, presses me to shed tears. So on the final note, I would just ask you as a lady, what's your perception about seeing people cry? Like I remember during the NSAS protest when the Lekki massacre and all of that. That night, I was listening live to Sonsoke Radio. And I was crying, like I cried my eyes out. You know, it was so serious. So, but you as a lady, how do you feel seeing a man cry? Let's say you're married and your husband is seeing shedding tears, or see a man. How do you feel? Does it strike a negative?
I think crying means different things to different persons. So it's not about me now. It's about the other person. If the person is crying and the person feels lighter by crying, why should it be a problem to me? But if the person does not cry and the person still feels lighter, it should still not be a problem to me. So just like the case of my dad and my sibling now. My dad cried and he felt lighter even after talking to the woman. My brother was crying within him and he still felt lighter. So it depends on the perception of the person who is crying. For me, I think I hardly cry. I can't remember seeing a movie.
Stronger.
Strong in heart.
All right, with that, we'll be coming to a conclusion, and I think with what we've said, I don't think it is wrong.
Not crime to cry.
For a man to cry. And even though it's been seen as a sign of
it's
weakness,
even one of the ways of easing stress.
Exactly.
Serious?
But at the same time, I also feel like we should also grow up. Like there are some, you should not just start crying and getting emotional about every situation. There are some situations you need to actually stand and address. But if it gets to a point that you need to pour out the emotion, you just have to do that. And that is how far we'll be taking on this morning's Let's Talk About It on Wisdom Gate Radio. And of course, it's Lifestyle and Health Tuesday, like we do every Tuesday. We will come back your way again next week, and of course, it's going to be bigger and better. I still remain your noble presenter with the voice of royalty, FZ Talk.
Alright, do not forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, and do not also forget to click on the notification bell to get notified anytime we give you this quality content. And please ensure to like. Thank you.
And also follow us on Facebook, social media, Twitter, and Instagram.
At Wig Radio, yes.
Always at Wig Radio. Yeah. Alright, don't do what God would not want you to do. Stay strong and keep flying.